Hey folks, this is Vince with Dad's Gaming Addiction, and today we're going to take a very quick look at the game Bypass. This game is for 2 to 4 players, ages 8 and up, and the average play time is about 25 minutes. In this game, players will be racing to be the first one to construct the road so that it spans the length of the board, and the first player that manages to do that will win the game. Let's just take a quick moment to look at the components and see how the game is played. To briefly touch on the components, there is one game board, 120 of these roadway tiles, and they look a little bit like this. And you've got a total of 12 of these traffic cones. At the beginning of the game, each player will choose a color. The colors are shown along the edges of the board. And basically, players in this game are going to be trying to connect their colors together with a valid route. And the first player that manages to do that will win the game. Now, as far as setting everything up, obviously you'll put the board in the center. Each player will draw one of these roadway tiles at random and place them onto the board. Now there's a few placement rules here. You cannot place a tile initially along this perimeter, or next to one of these colors, or next to one of these signs here. But anything in the middle is fair game. Once each player has drawn a random tile and placed it somewhere on the board, they'll go ahead and pick up 4 of these roadway tiles to form their hand, and each player will also receive 3 of these traffic cones. A player's turn is pretty simple. All that involves is playing a tile with the option of also playing a cone. Just to briefly sum that up, you'll take a look at your hand, choose one of these tiles, and place it anywhere you want to in any rotation on the board. You can put it near your opponent's route or your opponent's colors to create dead ends and try and trip them up. You can put them near your own routes to try and further your goal of connecting your 2 colors together, whatever you want. Now, in addition to playing a tile, you can play a traffic cone if you want to. If you want to do that, you would place it on the same tile that you just played. And putting a traffic cone on a tile simply means that that prevents the tile from being manipulated in the future. And I'll explain that special rule in a minute. Now, instead of doing that, a player can give up the right to place a tile and just simply place a traffic cone. However, they'll be able to place this traffic cone wherever they want on the board. Now, once a player's turn ends, and I forgot to mention this before, you'll simply draw from the face-down stacks back up to a hand size of 4. Now, I just want to briefly touch on legal routes and illegal routes. There is a few rules to consider whenever you're placing these tiles down. For example, in this particular case, it looks like red may have won the game. You've got a path going like so, up, okay, and it looks like it connects. Okay, so in theory, red may have actually won this game. Not the case. There is a special 90-degree rule in this game that prevents a player from turning at an intersection unless there is an on-ramp present. In this case, you've got a straight line here, a straight line here, that's good. Straight line going across, straight line, straight line. Now you've come to this intersection, and in this case, the red wants to try and make a left at this intersection to go up this way. However, that is not how the game works. In this case, the valid route would continue to go straight, and red would have to find some way of connecting a tile here or a tile here and try and reconnect it so that it connects at the end. Now, had this tile been rotated this way, that would be legal. There is an on-ramp to the left here that allows the player to make a left turn and continue up this route. There's another on-ramp here, up, another on-ramp, and that would be legal, and in this case, red would win the game. Now, there is a special rule in the game called a bypass, and this is what I was talking about earlier when I was referring to the traffic cones. When a tile is completely surrounded on all sides, a player may, at that time, place one of their own tiles in their hand and place it onto the board like so, right over top of the previously existing tile. That'll change the way this particular path plays out, and this will actually result in a victory for the red player. Now, to prevent that, like I was saying before, had the other player placed a traffic cone on top of this tile, the red player would not be able to create a bypass by placing a tile directly on top of it. So these traffic cones are good strategic pieces to use if you want to really screw up your opponent. And there you have it. That's just a very quick look at the game Bypass. I didn't cover all of the rules found in the manual, but this should give you a general overview as far as how the game is played. You can check out my review at www.dadsgamingaddiction.com, or you can simply click on the link in the below description that'll take you there as well. This is Vince, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.